Hello, you. Welcome back to my channel that I'm not present in. Sorry, welcome back, me, actually. And thank you for sticking around and being here. I just stopped moving. I've been kind of go. You know, little bits and pieces of my life if we don't actually know each other. I was in the States taking care of my dad, but then as soon as that was over, I got back to France and I had a tour. And then I went to a couple of trance music festivals in Europe. And now I'm kind of just finally settling back home in Paris. And I have time to address all these things that I want to do, but I haven't not stopped moving. And now the problem is I have to choose a topic. And since there are so many, there's one that just keeps reoccurring. It keeps coming up, and I've talked about it so much in the last month with all the new people that I met, and just talking about it with my friends in general. And it's such a huge part of my life, and that is meditation. Stay with me. So, meditation is kind of a thing that saved my life. It actually is the thing that saved my life. I don't know about physically. I don't think I ever would have gotten to the point where I took my own life, or I wasn't making such dangerous or brash decisions that I would put myself in actual danger, but it saved the quality of my life because it completely changed my perception. And your perception, as I have stated before, completely shapes your reality. For example, I was just walking through life being a victim and seeing all of the various ways that validated that victimhood. I'm not going to go into detail now. I'm sure you know someone who you can apply this to, or maybe you can relate to it yourself. And just know that it's not a permanent way of being. It's not a death sentence. You don't have to stay like this forever. It's just a question of catching it. And this is where meditation comes in, because you're not going to catch these bad habits that you perform day in and day out like a line of code running itself. You're programmed. You're not going to catch them unless you're paying attention to them. And you can't really pay attention to something that you don't know what you're looking for. And so, voila, enter meditation, the deus ex machina of your consciousness. It's here to save the day. So before you even start, you're probably saying, like me, really, I have ADD, maybe ADHD. It was never fully diagnosed, but I mean, all of the signs are there. And if it's not officially that, then it's something. Like I have some kind of, I always thought my brain was like a beehive. That's how I looked at it. And I really thought that I was incapable of meditating. I remember my mom telling me when I was a kid, like, if you can just pay attention to the air coming in and out of your nose for 10 breaths, then you meditated, or something like that. And I was like, I can't even get to the second breath. And that was still true, well into my adulthood. And it's still true today on certain days, depending on how stressed I am, or how scattered I am, or how much I've meditated recently, or how many more things I have. I mean, there are times where I've been meditating regularly for 8 years now, where it's a struggle to get 3 breaths in a row. And that just happens. That's just part of it. So I'm here to dispel all your fears about meditation, or your anxieties about not being able to do it yourself. You're totally capable. You really are. If I can do it, I swear to bears, you can too. You just don't know what meditation is, because we have never been taught officially, and so we make these assumptions about what it is. I know when I was a teenager, I thought it was some kind of like trance-like state, and so my brother and I would like meditate, but it was like I was doing these like rocking things, and maybe like I was probably chanting. I'm not really sure. There was definitely weed involved, but yeah, it's not that. It's not a trance state, and it's not a thoughtless state either. It is the state of being aware of your thoughts and focusing on one object. Tea break. Also, let me throw out the caveat that this is basically this is what I know, this is what I've kind of figured out, this is what I did a meditation retreat, 10 days Vipassana in Thailand 7 years ago. And this is just the accumulated and regurgitated wisdom. So go verify elsewhere if you're that kind of person. Get more information, definitely. This is a guideline to just get you started and to make meditation more approachable. There are apps. Guided meditation is always Definitely recommend it in the very beginning because it's really, really hard to like train your monkey mind. It really wants to go all over the place and plan and worry and regret and hope and, you know, all the things that we love doing when really it's just our brain. So that said, you choose an object of your meditation. And what that means is just something that you're going to focus on. So you're giving your brain a very specific job. You're saying, brain, you're going to pay attention to this one thing for the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour if you're being ambitious for your first time. But that would be really ambitious. I think 5 minutes is enough for a first time, and 10 minutes a day for like a week or 10 days. You can see the difference. I like to use the breath meditation as an object, because it will always be with you. It is the only thing that you will have with you until you die. And there's nothing else, and there's no one else that you can be sure that that is the case. And so meditation, using your breath as an object of meditation, gives you an easy center to come back to. And it's really helpful when you have, you know, stress-inducing situations, or you're triggered, or anxiety, or even in good times. Like you do want to remain centered and not get kind of caught away by the stories that your emotions are telling you. So I like the breath. And it's easy too because it changes a little bit, and just maybe focusing on like a candle flame or something like that is a little difficult because it doesn't move and it's just this one thing. But after, there are different schools of thought that say that keeping your eyes open is better. I like personally eyes closed and focusing on the breath. And so you say breath or brain, for the next 10 minutes we're going to just focus on the breath. And so on the in-breath, we're going to think breathing in. You're just making notes of everything that you're doing. So on the in-breath, you're saying breathing in. And on the out-breath, you're saying breathing out. So breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And you want to note too, somewhere, either with the nose or in the belly, the sensation that you're feeling. But it's better to choose one and stay with it so that your brain isn't jumping back and forth between the two. So maybe you're going to choose your nose. Then you notice how the air is hot as it comes, or it's cold as it comes in, and it's hot as it comes out. You can feel it in your nasal cavities. Or maybe if you focus on your belly, you're just watching it rising, falling, and you're noticing how your clothes get tighter as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, they get a little looser, things like that. There's another one that's very useful, depending on how you work, is counting. So like breathing in and breathing out. So you go belly, chest, nose, chest, belly, 3, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, back and forth. But that's it. So officially, that is the only thing that your brain has to do. You set the timer, and every time you become aware that you're not focusing on the breath or the object of meditation, you note that you're usually thinking. So you note what it is that distracted you. So you say thinking, and then you go back to the breath. And there's no judgment, there's no frustration, there's no, oh, shoot, I was thinking again, or oh, I can't do this, or, you know, it's bad that I thought, or, you know, you can't even be proud. You shouldn't even be proud that you caught yourself, even though you can be a little proud that you caught yourself. Yep, it's happening. It's really hot in here. What do you want? I have to keep the windows shut because it's Paris, and my neighborhood is the coolest neighborhood in Paris all of a sudden. Okay, I forgot where I was. So your brain has one job, and it's just to focus on the breath. But the brain really, really, really wants you, it wants to take over. It wants your attention. It wants you to believe what it's telling you. And it's not a malicious thing. It's just its job. It does that. It's just going to continue to make thoughts. And until you're aware of what the thoughts are that you're thinking, the thoughts are kind of marionetting you. And doing this little practice 10 minutes a day will make you more aware of the strings that you're attached to that are moving you. So over and over, maybe 10,000 times in one sitting, if there were that many opportunities, as long as you catch yourself when you're thinking, maybe you sit down and you hit start on the timer, and it's 5 minutes in that you realize, I was thinking that whole time. That's okay. That's totally normal. That is 100% what pretty much everyone does. And that's pretty much what we all do all day, every day. You just kind of, you don't see the time pass because we're lost in our thoughts, and those thoughts may be constructive. They may be helping us manage our days and plan lives and be, present in other ways. But it's not very helpful to be completely lost in our thoughts. So just come back to the breath. Always come back to the breath. Acknowledge that you were thinking, and then come back to the breath without judgment, frustration, fear, hope, whatever. Just leave it. Just know, thinking, and then go breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Thinking, breathing in, breathing out, thinking. But it's not gonna, that is when the thinking starts, but you're not gonna notice it until 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 2 minutes into it. And that's completely normal. So this is why most people believe that they can't meditate. But the thing is, as soon as you catch yourself thinking, no matter if it was 9 minutes and 59 seconds into a 10-minute meditation, you meditated. Because that's the point, is just to become aware of when your brain goes off track. It's got one simple job. And the brain is going to try to convince you in a myriad of different ways that just as you sit down, well, okay, maybe I should go to the restroom first. I want to make sure my water bottle is full. Let me light a candle. That's going to make it so much nicer. Oh, I forgot to text this person. Actually, I should probably clean the house up a little bit before I do that. Like, it's going to come up with a bunch of justifications, but just shut it up. Just 10 minutes. 10 minutes, be like, no, I'm not listening to this right now. I have this one thing to do, and it's focus on my breath. And every time I realize that I'm not focusing on my breath, I acknowledge that I'm not focusing on my breath, and I come back to my breath, and that's it. And that's what meditation is. That's it. It's not, it sounds super difficult because we make it seem difficult in our heads because the monkey mind is constantly going. It's not me who said it, but I've said it before, that the brain is an exquisite tool, but it's a terrible master. Like, it's a wonderful orchestra, but don't give it the stick, like it can't. It's just gonna, it's a monkey. It's gonna do whatever it wants. It's gonna play. I kind of think that's it. I think that's enough for today to give you an idea. If you have any questions or techniques that you want to share, put them down below. As always, give it a like, interact with the video in some way. That helps me out. It also lets me know I'm not just talking to myself. And I meditate because I like numbers, and I'm kind of a dork about numbers and many other things if you haven't noticed, but I like the number 22, and so I meditate for 22 minutes a day. And this is kind of one of those things that I won't take off my day. It's in the hierarchy of daily things that I need to do. It's pretty high up there. It's like right now it's kind of neck and neck with Wim Hof breathing, which maybe I'll talk about another time, but it's a game changer because you don't realize just how far it will go. I really didn't know what was going to happen when I started meditating 7 years ago. I just kind of was like, I got to get out of my head. My head is like a beehive and it's hell. And yeah. I'm doing okay. Meditation isn't the only thing, but it's kind of like the through line. It's the thing. It's the thread that ties it all together. It was like the finger that pushed the first domino. So yeah, that's it. So anyway, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for everything. I love you so much, and I will see you next time. Bisous.